Hi, I'm Sir Dash Masong. Welcome to my Licensure Exam for Teachers Review, Professional Education, Part 20. Let's start. Prof. Ed 96, Operant Conditioning. A teacher stops giving her students homework for a week because they have been consistently well-behaved in class. As a result, the students continue to behave well. This scenario best illustrates A. Positive reinforcement. B. Negative reinforcement. C. Positive punishment. Or D. Negative punishment. Pause this video and try to answer it on your own. Go! Alright, the correct answer is letter B, negative reinforcement. Baka may mga nalito dito, no? So, tignan natin isa-isa. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng mga terms na yan? Let's recall. Yung negative reinforcement is itong concept in operant conditioning proposed by Skinner where a behavior is strengthened because it results in the removal or avoidance of an unpleasant stimulus. Again, ito po ay result ng removal or avoidance ng unpleasant stimulus. Let's analyze now yung scenario. Tinanggal yung homework, ayun yung unpleasant stimulus, yung homework. That is contingent on students' good behavior. So it increases the likelihood that students will continue to behave well. So ano pinagkaiban to sa positive reinforcement? Sa positive reinforcement kasi, it involves adding a reward. Okay, take note lang ha, yung term negative does not mean bad. It means removing something, para ka nag-subtract, nag-minus, kaya negative. Okay, tingnan natin yung ACD, bakit mali ito? Kasi yung positive reinforcement, again, as mentioned kanina, it involves adding a pleasant stimulus, kagaya nga ng rewards, not removing an unpleasant one. Yung letter C naman, yung positive punishment, it involves adding an aversive consequence, example, extra work, to decrease a behavior. Yung negative punishment naman, mali ito, kasi it involves removing a pleasant stimulus, example nun, taking away a privilege, okay, to decrease a behavior. That's it. See you sa next session. God bless. Prof. Ed 97, Zone of Proximal Development. A teacher provides guided assistance, prompts, and step-by-step support to a student who is struggling with a challenging task. As the student becomes more capable, the teacher gradually removes the support. This teaching practice is best described as A. Scaffolding, B. Direct instruction, C. Discovery learning, or D. Independent study. Pause this video and try to answer it on your own. Go! Alright, the correct answer is letter A, scaffolding. I hope naalala nyo pa itong ZPD. I-recall natin. Yung scaffolding, isa itong teaching strategy where teachers provide temporary support to help students accomplish tasks within their zone of proximal development. Yung ZPD nga. So, Dash, ano nga ba ulit yung ZPD? Yung ZPD na to, ito yung gap between what a student can do independently and what they can achieve with guidance. Let's analyze yung scenario. Gumamit yung teacher ng prompts, step-by-step support, and gradual removal ng assistance. Isa itong hallmark ng scaffolding. Yung concept na to closely associated with Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory of learning. Baka lang lumabas sa exam, tandaan. Okay, sir, ano nga ba yung BCD? Bakit mali? I-recall natin. Yung direct instruction kasi, it involves explicit teaching and clear explanations from the teacher. Yung discovery learning naman, it involves students exploring and discovering concepts independently. At yung independent study naman, it involves students working alone without teacher support. So ito ay opposite ng temporary assistance provided in scaffolding. That's it. See you sa next session. God bless. Prof. Ed 98, Test Construction, Evaluating Quality. A teacher analyzes her multiple choice tests and discovers that a large number of students chose the same incorrect option. This indicates that A. The test is very reliable. B. The test is too difficult. C. The destructor is effective. Or D. The test is invalid. Pause this video and try to answer it on your own. Go! Alright, the correct answer is Letter C, the distractor is effective. I hope nakuha niyo ito. I-recall natin. Bakit nga ba letter C ang sagot? An effective distractor is one that is plausible and attractive to students who have not mastered the content, such that many of them chose it over the correct answer. Take note ha, when a large number of students choose the same incorrect option, ano ibig sabihin nun? It suggests that the distractor is functioning well. Bakit? Kasi it reflects a common misconception or error. Okay, isa itong positive sign sa test construction kasi it means the distractor is effectively distinguishing between students who know the content and those who do not. Okay, bakit mali yung A, B, and D? Baka lang naisagot ng iba ito. Bakit mali yung letter A? The test is very reliable. Mali ito kasi ang reliability refers to the consistency of test scores, hindi sa effectiveness ng individual distractors. Yung letter B naman, the test is too difficult. Listen carefully. Baka may nagsagot ng letter B. Bakit? Because a large number of students choosing a specific distractor does not necessarily mean the test is too difficult. Take note ha, it may reflect a common misconception. Letter D, the test is invalid. Mali rin ito. Bakit? Kasi take note na yung mga invalid tests do not measure what they are supposed to measure. Kaya nga siya invalid. Pero the scenario naman is about distractor effectiveness, not overall test validity. That's it. See you sa next session. God bless. Prof. Ed 99, Curriculum Evaluation. A curriculum evaluator determines whether a program's outcomes align with its stated objectives. This evaluation approach is most consistent with A. Scriven's goal-free model, B. CIPP model, C. Stakes Countenance model, or D. Tyler's evaluation model. Pause this video and try to answer it on your own. Go! Alright, the correct answer is letter D, Tyler's evaluation model. Sana naalala nyo pa itong mga models na to. Pwede nyo balikan yung previous sessions, diniscuss ko rin ito doon. Okay, bakit letter D yung tamang sagot? Yung Tyler's evaluation model or tinatawag din na Tyler rationale isa itong goal-based evaluation approach that focuses on whether program outcomes meet the predetermined objectives. Let's analyze yung scenario. Yung evaluator dito, kinumpare niya yung intended outcome, yung objectives, with actual outcomes to determine the effectiveness of the program. Again, the scenario of evaluating whether outcomes align with stated objectives is ay yung classic example ng Tyler's model. Yung model na to, fina-follow niya yung means-ends approach. Ibig sabihin, objectives are set first, then instruction is designed, and finally, evaluation determines if objectives were achieved. Okay, i-recall din natin yung ABC. Yung Scriven's goal-free model, take note of the word, goal-free. Kaya ito mali kasi it intentionally ignores stated goals. Kaya siya goal-free. And it focuses on actual outcomes. Isa itong opposite actually ng Tyler's objective-based approach. Okay, yung CIPP model naman, CIPP stands for Context, Input, Process, Product. So it's a broader and it examines multiple components beyond just outcomes and objectives. Yung Stakes Countenance model naman, kaya ito mali. Kasi it examines the alignment between intents, observations, and outcomes, not just objectives and outcomes. That's it. See you sa next session. God bless. Prof. Ed 100. Next, pang 100 na. Philippine Education Laws. A student who has just finished grade 6 can now enroll in a public high school without paying tuition fees as mandated by law. This policy is implemented under which law? A. RA 6655, B. RA 10533, C. RA 9155, or D. RA 4670. Pause this video and try to answer it on your own. Go! Alright, the correct answer is letter A, RA 6655. Bago natin i-discuss, naka 100 questions na tayo ng Prof. Ed, ano? So, kung gusto mong balikan yung mga previous questions, gumawa ko ng playlist sa YouTube. Ano? Hanapin mo lang sa Dash Academy Punta ka sa playlist, kompleto yan. Okay, discuss natin itong mga Philippine Education Laws. Bakit letter A yung sagot? Yung RA 6655, tinatawag din itong Free Public Secondary Education Act. Again, Free Public Secondary Education Act of 1988. It mandates the provision of free public secondary education to all citizens who have completed elementary education. Yung law na to, napakaganda, no? It ensures that every Filipino child has access to quality secondary education without the burden of tuition fees. Napaka-significant nitong piece of legislation kasi it supports the constitutional right ng bawat citizen to quality education. Public high schools are funded by the government to provide this free education. Kaya sana nagagamit ng tama yung funds, making it accessible to all students regardless of their economic background. Okay, i-recall din natin yung ibang laws. Yung letter B, RA 10533. Mali ito kasi ito yung Enhanced Basic Education Act. Ito naman yung nag-establish sa K-12 program. Again, RA 10533, Enhanced Basic Education Act. Yung RA 9155 naman, ito yung Governance of Basic Education Act. Governance, ano? Kasi ito yung nag-restructure sa DepEd and its field offices. Yung RA 4670 naman, ito yung Magna Carta for Public School Teachers. Ito naman yung nagpo-protect sa right and welfare ng teachers. That's it. See you sa next session. God bless. Hashtag, sana makatulong. If you want a free digital copy of this reviewer, pinamimigay ko po ng libre. How? Just comment on this video, free reviewer, and I will send you the link. And for more reviewers, please feel free to visit and subscribe to my social media account, Sir Dash Academy. Available sa YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. I suggest pumunta ka sa YouTube kasi gumawa ako ng playlist doon. Hanapin mo lang, kinumpile ko lahat ng reviewers for the licensure exam for teachers ngayong taon na to. Hanapin mo na lang sa playlist sa YouTube. Meron din doon per domain. If you need further review sa Prof Ed, sa Gen Ed, or sa specialization, hanapin mo lang sa YouTube, sa playlist. That's it. Sana makatulong. See you sa next session. God bless.